Hello again, this is Avkash, and in this video we are going to learn how you can add various maps-based visualization in your web, mobile, or desktop projects. This video is a general information about how different or various mapping services and the mapping libraries and mapping component they work together. So we will learn the whole mapping stack in this video, and the information in this video will be curated for the software developer, especially for the front end developer perspective. So if you are a front end developer or you are engaging in any kind of mapping services or map related tasks, this video will be very useful for you. So let's get started. Very first thing we need to understand is that when there are several mapping services available, Mapbox is one, Google Maps are there, ArcGIS is there, Open Maps is there. There are several organizations gives you the mapping or the core mapping services. So if you are an engineer or programmer, you want to create application using these map services, first you need to have the access to those mapping services. So if you are using the Mapbox, then you need to have your account with Mapbox, and Mapbox service is going to give you an access ID or token so you could use their mapping service. Same thing goes with Google Maps or any other services, depending on how and which service you are using and how you are accessing it. Some of these services are designed in a way that you can build your own server and you can serve your own application using your own server, but that is not the scope of this tutorial. So let's assume that you have created your account with Mapbox, and Mapbox has given you the access token. And as you could see here in this screen, that I do have access to Mapbox services through my business account, and you can see that there is the Mapbox token. So wherever I will be using the mapping services in my application, I will be referencing this Mapbox token. This will be same if you are using the Google Maps too. Most of these mapping services, they actually have the connection layer or integration layer using OpenGL or open source graphics library, and that refers to GL in general. So if you are using Mapbox, then there is a library called Mapbox GL. So if you are creating any application, you are going to go with Mapbox GL library, because Mapbox GL library is a connection to underneath mapping services which are created by Mapbox. Something is going to be same with Google Maps, that you are going to use the Google mapping library to access the underneath services. So Mapbox GL is an open source, it's a customizable. So if you want to create the mobile, web, or desktop applications, you are going to use the Mapbox GL. Now, if you are a front-end developer, you would want to have access to this Mapbox GL. And the best way is that if you have some wrapper around this library, which you could use with your front-end framework. So for example, if you are using JavaScript and you are familiar with React, so you would want to have a React wrapper around this Mapbox GL. And that's where the React Map GL library comes. So React Map GL library is just a wrapper around the Mapbox GL. So if you want to create the React applications, you would be using this React Map GL and importing different modules as needed, and your job will be far easier, because now you really do not need to know anything about the Mapbox GL implementation and even the under the hood, the complex implementation of the mapping services. Same thing that React Map GL, similar to React Map GL, Google has its own library. So you could use that library to connect with Google Maps. So React Map GL is going to give you majority of the functionality through the React Map GL component, and using that component and passing various parameters depending on your need, you can create the web, mobile, or desktop apps. Now comes the DeckGL. So DeckGL is another library which is higher layer library which provides you the various functionalities top of React Map GL, or it can connect with Google Maps, ArcGIS, or other open format maps. So DeckGL is a library which gives you various functionalities, such as you want to create the arc maps, you want to add the icons, you want to add images, you want to create the scatter plot, you want to create the 3D bars top of it. So DeckGL is an open source library which gives you functionality to do all that creative layering work on top of React Map GL, or if you are not using React Map GL, it can work with Google Maps, ArcGIS, etc. One good thing with DeckGL is that you can use it with React or you can use without React. So depending on whether you are using with React or without React, you will be using the different directives to import modules in your code. In this screen, you are seeing a really good example of combining DeckGL with Mapbox GL. So as you could see, there is a arc layer, there is a 3D building layer, there is scatter plot layer, and you can combine all of these layers combining DeckGL and Mapbox GL. And you will have a very compound view of your geo information, which is very informative, pleasing to the eyes, as well as it does give users the depth of information just glancing on it, which you could not generate through tens of thousands of rows worth of data. So that is the power of combining these different layering libraries with your map services. So whether you are using Mapbox or ArcGIS or Google Maps, once you have your access to those mapping services available through the membership and the token, you can get started yourself. Here I have an application which I have already built earlier, and this application is using the my Mapbox access token to render this hex map which has 3 different layers. So now we can understand that how different mapping libraries are going to assist us. So very first, we have already looked into that the React Map GL is the wrapper around the Mapbox GL library. So if you are interested creating applications using React Map GL, you have to integrate this package in your front-end development environment, and then you can start using it. The DeckGL is another higher layer library which is based on WebGL, and you can use various layers and several other tracking component top of your Mapbox or Mapbox GL or your React GL content. If you want to use DeckGL with React, that's very good. If you do not want, you have both options available. Here you could see that when you are using DeckGL without React, you are accessing the various components directly from the DeckGL different libraries. If you are using with React, you are using this component DeckGL and it's from React library. Top of it, if you would want to just play with geodata and build various visualizations, the kepler.gl is another new library which you could use. If you haven't used it, it's an amazing library for processing super large data set, and you would want to create your own visualization directly using one single library. So here is one example which is using the kepler.gl, and as you could see that there are all these houses which built at Los Angeles since 2006. So there is data available. As you could see, the various layer can be added here and the filters can be integrated with those layers. So this is a one single package to build the amazing visualizations using geodata. And here are some of these libraries which you could see that how powerful kepler.gl could be if you would want to create the applications like these. I do have whole front end development or the full stack development tutorial after this tutorial, which going to show how you can combine the various Mapbox library in React, including DeckGL, and we are going to see various different mapping visualization in our demo. Some of the demos which I will be showing are like these. Here you could see that I have a combination of text layer and the heat map layer, a scattered plot layer, and hex map layer. In another example, I have this arc map layer where you could see that these arcs are being started from one location here at from Los Angeles, and these arcs are basically the flight start and the end point. This is another example I have to show. The another example I have to share is the heat map. How you could create the heat map in your visualization application. And as you could see here that these are the different heat maps are created for the New York City. In another example here you can see that scattered plot points are plotted based on two separate value types, A and B. So this demo is also available for someone to see how this whole code is created. Here is the two layers are in play where you could see the text and the scattered plot or the point layer is integrated into one simple mapping visualization. So if you are interested in learning about how to code mapping or geo data visualization applications in React using React Map GL and DeckGL, the tutorial is going to be very helpful for you. So that's all I have in this tutorial, and I will be seeing you in my another tutorial. That's all, my friends. If you have enjoyed our content, please like it, share it, subscribe it. And finally, please remember, be good and do good. Thank you.